Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right, great. All right. Thank you for staying with us again. We'll just go ahead and start now.
Okay, but I can't see your face.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. You see it when we're broadcasting.
Okay.
All right, in two,
So
three,
how long is this? How long? Okay.
5, 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's go. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Oh, thank you for staying with us. We'll switch lanes now, and we're being joined by Indy Kato from Abuja to discuss the challenges that young people will face or are already facing in trying to seek elective offices. Kendra, it's a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Good afternoon, Victor. Nice to be here.
Very well. What is going on now? What is going on? I said it. I know. Yeah, I introduced first and then I turned, but there was no movement. Like I didn't see anything moving. Let's do it again. Sorry, Kendra.
You called me Kendra on air.
Did I call you Kendra?
Yes.
Oh my God, I thought I said Indy.
You said India and then you said Kendra.
Oh my God, sorry about that. Okay, let's do this again. All right, take two. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Thank you for staying with us. We're switching lanes now. We're being joined by Indy Kato to take a look at the challenges that young people will be facing as they seek elective offices. Of course, you're aware that the president has a center to the Not Too Young to Run bill. It is in place, but then after that, what is next? What is next? I beg your pardon. But Indy, thank you once again for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me, Victor.
So first of all, again, I would have to say congratulations on the passage of the presidential assent to the Not Too Young to Run bill. I mean, there must be some form of nostalgia going on.
Of course, of course. It's a battle that took us 2 years. So this is good. It feels good. Feels like a second birthday.
I can imagine. But moving forward, now that obstacle has been removed, I mean, I don't think it's uhuru, so to speak. I don't think it is yet uhuru for young people who are going to seek elective offices come 2019. I mean, it's a little bit too close, so to speak. But what challenges are there?
Well, there are quite a lot. The older generation is not used to this introduction. So you are in the space and people are looking at you like, oh, you're too young, because it has been normalized that our age is not supposed to be, people our age can't run for this. So they feel we're too young. Keep in mind that what a system that prevents young people from running does is that it makes it difficult for even people in their 30s, because you have not started building from a certain age. So you still have people in their 50s still trying to grow a political career. And there are also political structures on ground. This is really close to election time. I was actually running with Faith. I'm running for State House of Assembly, Kaduna State, to represent Jama'ah. And I started running before the bill was passed, but before the law was passed. And the structures on ground are very difficult to break. It takes a lot of years of political participation. You know, some of us might be luckier than others, but it's still not so easy. We also have to look at the financial, constraints. A lot of young people do not have the cash to run for office. Personally, in my village, I've had a lot of young people come out, but then cannot. They can't break through, because politics in Nigeria is it's really really backed by funds, and so these are the issues. We also have people telling you that you're not experienced enough, and somehow the experience does not mean that you have not done enough things, but they just kind of, it's gerontocratic. It's a gerontocratic society. They say old age is the experience. They don't care what you've done as young.
So when you talk about, I mean, when you talk about structures, I mean, yes, truly, I mean, you need a structure on ground. And I'm looking at the fact that the elections are pretty much very close. I mean, you are running on based on faith. I mean, but others might not have had that opportunity to begin making the moves. They're actually waiting for this a bill to move to get the presidential assent. I mean, before they would make their intentions known. Of course, I mean, social media has been flooded with a lot of people since the president made that assent. I mean, many people have now made their intentions, known to run for some of these positions that the ages have been brought down. But, again, talking about these structures, how will that be easy? Because, like you said, what is on ground at the moment is not really, really young, I mean, youth friendly, so to speak. How would you break those barriers?
Well, I think that young people, we've had several conversations on how young people can do this. One of the things is young people actually supporting other young people with funds and other things that you think you can do to help, them win elections, help them with network too. Politics is, on the surface, it looks very idealistic. It seems though if you just put in this work here and there, but a lot of networking, a lot of underground politicking is involved. I think that if we do that, there are more chances. And then young people talk about a youth party, but then we have so many of them. If we can actually come together and form one, South Africa has EFF, and you can see what they are doing there. If we can actually come together, we can break through. But within the political party system that we have right now, get in and get active. I think how I tend to see politics is that politics is a leveler. It does not look at, qualifications and all that. It looks at functionality at the end of the day. If you are useful, you break these doors. So I think young people should get in there, populate the space, and be useful. At some point, nobody will be able to shut doors against you. I started 4 years ago, and I put it behind me that, like, in my head that I was going to run for office. So this has been a journey that I've been building for this number of years. It's not a day's journey. To be very honest, even State House of Assembly.
One thing I'm trying to pick from what you're saying is, there's that need for the young people to come together, like you talked about, crowdfunding and all that. But you even see that at the moment, the youths are divided. Let me just make an example of the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You tend to see the youths having their heads being clashed against each other. And I begin to think and wonder if these same youths that you're talking about that need to support each other can actually, form a united front or group, present a candidate, or even support themselves to achieve this political freedom.
I think we can. I have people support my career party. I think one we should try to do is to look beyond our present elections. Of course, it's kind of difficult to form a political party now as young people and all back that party. The reality on ground right now is that is not presently feasible. But we must look beyond party lines. The people before us, the older politicians, they do just that. And another thing we have to say, I think we hold youth to such high standards that have not been created yet. So we say, oh, they are divided across party lines, they cannot unite and take over. But the older ones are doing just that. They are divided across party lines, across tribal and religious lines, and somehow they've been able to hold the nation for that long. So these are not, I think that we should look beyond that cliche, beyond what has been said about us. I don't think that's an oppressive narrative that we can't come together because of that. Do we have our differences? Yes. I mean, I come from Jamaa, I am Fanswan, I will associate as that. I have things that I associate as, but it does not mean that I will not work with the next person. It does not mean that if we disagree on one end, we cannot agree on the other end. Politics is about interest after all. Young people need to realize that.
Indeed, but let me also, talk about again the social media platforms. We've seen, quite a number of people, seeking for donations. I mean, we've seen from young people that are trying.
I am seeking for donations. Yeah, I'm a good example. Yeah,
I mean, because how do you use technology? Because one of the key things that people talk about is how young people are using technology to do a lot of brilliant things. I mean, so using technology now. How has that been playing out, and how have the young people been putting in efforts to see that people like you that are sourcing funds on that platform get it and use it for the purpose it's
yeah I mean, my primary donors are young people, but we should also point that in the long run, not many people feel like they owe you anything, and rightfully so. So we can't expect that just because we're young people, every young person is going to rally behind us. I'm young. Those who key into my message and into, the work I've done will donate. We have Twitter. There's a website, Donate NG. This is not an advert, but I have, a donation page right there for my campaign. This is relatively new because we're not used to that in Nigeria. I'm throwing a fundraiser in Abuja tomorrow, Monday, and amongst other things, this has availed us opportunities that the other generation, didn't necessarily have. We also have like a vast network of youths in civil society, in tech, and in politics too, that you reach out to. And this door that used to be really narrow for the elite has really been open wide. I don't think that someone like me would have been able to run for office comfortably. It's not like it's comfortable now, but on the level I am, I don't think people have been able to do that. So we have Twitter, we have these websites that help with donations. I've mentioned DonateNG, then there's GoFundMe, there's Instagram. Many people will find out about the work you're doing. And then there are TV stations like yours who, have helped to channels really helps to give you young people platforms. So we have more people paying attention and we're leveraging on that. I mean, at the end of this interview, I'm pretty sure I'll have more people asking where my donation portal is.
Hopefully, but one last thing again, just before we wrap up, is the issue of godfatherism. Yeah. I mean, that has been, a recurring decimal in Nigeria's political terrain. But now that you have this presidential ascent, people are saying that, the godfathers will bring their children and their cronies who are at that age barrier. I mean, at that age bracket. Give them the funds. Give them the backing they need, and which means at the same time, when they're in office, they will control what they do. How can that? I think reaction to that, and how can that be tackled?
I think this adds nothing to the conversation. When we say that the rich people will take their children, they were going to either ways, whether or not the bill was passed. When these people get to 30, 35. If the rich are going to do that, if the elite are going to do that, they will still do that anyway. I'd like to point out that everyone that I know, Samson Itodo, who heads Yaga, is a graduate of Unijos. I'm a graduate of Unijos. We are young children who have young people who are built from next to nothing. So if we can do this, I believe that we can stand our ground. We can get this done. Also keep in mind that the rich could have also assented to this bill, could have pushed for this bill on their own, if this was their agenda and gotten this done. But these are young people. There's always a new wave. When this present generation, the class of 66, when they were doing what they were doing, there was a class of elites back then that they overthrew. So power is not given. We have repeated this over and over again. Power is not given, it's taken. We're seeing steps by my generation to take over right now. I don't think that there's really anything the elite can do at this point. We're not being undemocratic about it. We're taking, very visible steps. We're doing the right things. And I think that eventually power will change hands. I also think that government should consist of everyone in society. So it's not like it's an us against them. But eventually, by 2027, many of the people you're seeing today will not be able to run for office, will not be able to continue. Even when you want to continue with godfatherism, age and the reality of biology will catch up with you. So there's only so much we can do. There are many people we consider godfathers, many years ago at the beginning of this democracy that do not exist now. It's just what it is. One generation will eventually give up for the others.
We'll have to wait and see how all of that will play out. But Ndi Kato, thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me, Victor.
Very well. Well, that's where we are. We'll take a break and I'll be back with the movie videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Please stay with us.
Okay. Thank you. Can you hear me? It has gone. Hello? Oh my God.